Have to say bye-bye, yo.
I always tell people, if you truly want to learn about America, talk to black women. Yeah, because unlike everybody else, black women cannot afford to f around and find out.
Welcome back to All Things Jenny. Go ahead and watch this video. In my opinion, will be at the very end because I have something to say.
So, story time! Y'all know I always got stories. So, after I was newly divorced, I was kind of like trying to date again. It didn't go so well. It still ain't going well. But nevertheless, let's do this story. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm out. And the thing that I like to do most is like go on a walk because, you know, like if you walk long enough, you end up really knowing about a person and know if you want to take a second walk. So I'm out walking with this guy and, you know, blah, 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 blah. We're kind of heading back on our way back. And he starts telling me about why he doesn't date black women. Now, I just knew that this was not going to go well. I knew it was not going to go well. So he says, you know, that he says the normal stuff. You know, black women are aggressive, they're mean, they talk too much, you know, blah, 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 blah. And he's going on and on and on. And I say, well, you do realize that your daughter is a black woman, right? And he stops and I'm like, yeah, she's black. And I don't care how white her mama is, your child is black. I said, and your mama's black too, you know. So how is it that you feel comfortable saying these things? Like, would you say this in front of your mama? And by this time, we're getting close to my car. And he's like asking me out again. And I'm like, no. Like, I cannot go out with somebody who hates black women because my daughter is a black woman. And my sisters and my mothers and the people who are most important in my life are black women. So if you hate black women, you like essentially hate my whole family and community. So then he starts backtracking and I don't hate black women, I'm just saying I prefer and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, see, your preference is based upon skin because that black woman that you described, that personality, those characteristics of the black women in my life, that doesn't describe any of them. But I'll tell you who it does describe. It describes me. And one of the things is, and they don't even wear their own hair. At that point, I snatched off my wig and I said, I don't wear my own hair either. That man was so confused. Be careful what you ask for, buddy.
Special shout out to black women. You know, I've often been credited with, you know, having these grand ideas of people like, oh, Trevor, you're so smart and you're so, and then I'm like, who do you think teaches me? You know, who do you think has shaped me, nourished me, informed me? You know, from my mom, my gran, you know, my aunts, all these black women in my life, but then in America as well. I always tell people, if you truly want to learn about America, talk to black women. Yeah, because unlike everybody else, black women cannot afford to f around and find out. Black people understand how hard it is when things go bad, especially in America, but any place where black people exist, whether it's Brazil, whether it's South Africa, wherever it is, when things go bad, black people know that it gets worse for them. But black women in particular, they know what shit is, genuinely. People always be shocked. They'll be like, why do black women turn out the way they do in America? Why do they vote the way? Yeah, because they know what happens if things do not go the way it should. They cannot afford to around and find out. And to black women who have taught me, all of them, I mean, the scholars online, the authors, everybody, the Roxanne Gays, the Tressie McMillan Cottums, I'll remember the names, the Zoe Tamudzis, the brilliant, brilliant women. Taken the time to inform me, to educate me, to argue with me, the Tarana Burks who laughed with me, talking about everything from sexual assault to just...
Have to say bye-bye, yo. Bye-bye, yo.
Hey, move your nana, mommy, nana, daddy, ugly blood clot. Bo bye-bye, yo. After you been with white girl. Now, black woman, why you? Move your dirty blood clot. When any white girl get all man like you, them turn in a toilet. You see the teeth them in your mouth? You have a blood clot stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Go your face too. Your black woman why you? Then black woman could have really look man and look you. Take a good look in at the mirror. Cause you come like a pair of drinking glass in your house. Go get a mirror and look for yourself. Which black woman that them right mind now would have want you? You favor the bottom of the blood clot barrel. Where?
Bye-bye, yo. Bye-bye, yo.
It's a shame that a Melatonin brother would disrespect his Melatonin sisters to praise the sisters that don't even look like you or me. But we ain't mad because you don't want us. But you could have kept your opinions to yourself. We don't care what you like. We don't care who you want. But at the end of the day, they can really have your... Because I don't want my page to get blocked or this video to come down. But keep your opinions to yourself. What you like is what you like. It's what you like.
Yeah, welcome back. So black women are the blueprint, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Because it doesn't make any sense at this point if anybody's trying to convince me that we're not the blueprint, right? As a black woman, people will go out of their ways just to basically mention black women in something just so they can get some attention from the rest of the world. May it be black men, white women, white men, Spanish, Asians, whatever. As long as they mention the black woman, or as long as they mention a black woman, it is guaranteed to go viral. And that is the thing that I have been seeing. And black men will go out of their ways to try to insert a black woman in their conversation so they can get some attention. Or am I lying? Because at this point, I don't see the purpose of you having to mention that you have to say goodbye to black women after you dated white women. Who cares? Nobody cares what your preference is. Everyone has preference. And it's okay if you have a preference because it's just the natural way of life, right? Everybody has preference. But this is not the first video I've seen of men doing stuff like this for attention. Because who cares about the women that you're dating? And if you have to go as far as mentioning that, that means the women that you're dating are literal fetishes. They're just fetishes to you. And black men are the main one that's saying that white men are fetishizing black women because they're giving us better attention. Not necessarily better attention, but better treatment than they would. Imagine coming out of a black woman and then making a comment like this, saying something as stupid as that. Because at the end of the day, you're saying goodbye to black women because you prefer to date a white woman doesn't make you less of a black man. As a matter of fact, it makes you a black man who is disrespecting the very women that you come from. So how are you going to treat your daughter if, God forbid, you ended up having a half white, half black daughter and she just so happened to come out a little bit darker? Because it's not going to always come out. They're not going to always come out like a mulatto, like a lotto. They're not going to come out with blonde hair and blue eyes. What if she come out more darker than your daughter, than you expected? Then you're going to treat her different? You're going to treat her wrong? You're going to say goodbye to her because she looks black? She take your side of the family? She take your blood more? Are you going to mistreat her because she's darker? Because you prefer white women? You can have your preference all you want. But the thing is, why do you have to bring a whole culture down, a whole community down so you can make your point? You don't have to do that. It's okay for you to have a preference. You can date whoever you want, but you don't have to make somebody, a whole group of people, feel bad or try to, because you want to say, hey, this is the preference that I want. And then when you end up having a daughter who is just darker than you expected because you had her with a white woman, she come out darker, then what, you're going to hate her? You're not going to take care of her as your own seed because you have so much self-hate? It's giving self-hate at this point. It's ridiculous, it's stupid, it's disgusting. Do better, black men, do better. Not all black men, but the ones who act like this, who have that mentality, y'all need to do better. It's sad at this point. It's very sad and pathetic. Anyways, see you on the next